Well, Pisces, there are some dynamic things happening for you this month, the month of March 2018. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. Thanks for joining me again. And for the newcomers, I hope you'll enjoy the brief but hopefully pertinent sorts of forecasts we can see here. Not always external, more to do with the internal mechanism. Here we see it's an important month and a dynamic one because of, see all these square markings here. This is a challenging 90-degree aspect between Mars, which is at the upper part of the horoscope, the work, career area. Mars is your luckiest planet, ruling this this ninth house of your horoscope and second house. It's very, very lucky, along with the moon itself. So any contact with these two planets is fortunate. Here we see the powerful conjunction of 4 planets in your sun sign. Throughout this period of the year, the sun is moving in this area. But the challenge here has to do with lifting your ball game in terms of who you are as an identity and your work. Almost bordering on aggressive, we see your need to actually really do well in your work. And that's, I'm going backwards here. We're going backwards in time now. And this has to do with the full moon that takes place on the 2nd of the month. And that occurs here within the 7th house. Full moon relating to your relationships. And as I said, it's the lucky planet along with Mars. Any contact of moon in any of these areas is usually lucky. But you can see here it is rather constrained by these opposition planets. Well, we know that the opposition to the sun is the full moon, but to Neptune, Mercury, Venus can bring with it some confusion, and that relates to your relationships. There on the 4th and 5th, some financial matters, getting down and looking at your accounting, your tax, your loans and that sort of thing. And then a lucky contact for you, and you see that we just passed that very powerful grand trine here between, well, it's not really a grand trine, I take that back. It's a major trine here from the lucky 9th house, making a contact with your ruler, as I said earlier, when the moon contacts Jupiter or Mars, and it does that in quick succession here between the 7th and the 10th and 11th, first with Jupiter. Great for studies, any higher education, travels, legal matters, if you've got them, can work out to your advantage. And here we see the very powerful and dynamic mental, emotional and physical combo of Moon and Mars in your professional area. That's followed up by some benefits with your social networking and also profitability in your business. We see also the movement of these planets into the 2nd house of income a little bit earlier than that, Mercury and Venus, bringing with them some luck, and also the Uranus there, unexpected opportunities. That moon that had just passed Saturn around the 12th and Pluto can bring with it some very unusual changes in your social circumstances. There can be an obsession with friends. There can be some revitalization of the relationships if you haven't been feeling good about yourself or the relationship with others. The important other transit takes place on the 17th, after this 12th house low-key rejuvenative period, the idealistic Moon and Neptune combo. Again, Neptune's another one of your rulers. And then on the 17th, we have that, well, a double transit that's significant too. There it is there. And take a look here, moving out of that creative professional area, the transit to the 11th house, while the new moon is taking place in your 1st house. Now, the new moon tells us that you have to, if you can't, I suppose, willingly make that change. But I think that's going to happen anyhow. And it shows turning a new leaf, a new chapter in the way you see yourself and the way you present yourself to the world. And that's probably partly to do, well, if not largely actually, with Mars there in your 10th house, indicating the drive for recognition in your work, opportunities to increase your income. Look at all these planets here around the 18th, along with Mars, Saturn, and Pluto in the 11th. This is a house of profit. This is a house of income. So whether you're working for a salary or whether you're working to improve your profitability, the 11th house is great for any planet. Mars, Saturn together, however, after the 21st, are not exactly going to function well together. That can cause some problems in terms of expending money to have to make it, and feeling rather frustrated there still with your friends. That can bring with it a change in the dynamic of your social networking. Notice also the Sun moves to this second house along with these other planets. But also there, I'm going to go back a little bit there for you, Pisces, because I want you to see the position of Mercury here, and this has a lot to do with not only your business partnerships. There it is there. It moves into a stationary position before it goes retrograde around the 24th. That has a lot to do with your romantic relationships, and you see at the same time Moon moving through the 5th house of love affairs. So some revision necessary over your relationships, marriage, business partnerships and finances, and also the way that you invest money. There it is, 6th house of debts. That's nice. There's a nice triangular position, meaning you can probably earn enough money there to pass that on to, get a bit more equity in the picture. But don't do it too quickly. You need to think about this stuff, as shown by Mercury there in your 2nd house, indicating a revision of all of that, and not a great time, because Mercury is not your friendliest planet. It sort of is slightly different in nature to your ruling planet Jupiter. And it seems to remain there for the rest of the month. So I'd be advising you that before you're going to make any major shifts in finance policy or relationships or business partnerships contractually, take a look at Venus, accepting for a breakthrough on the 31st. When Venus moves to the 3rd house there, contracts. So be careful. View whatever contracts, consider the agreements, but don't necessarily rush forward to give a yay or nay until this planet goes forward again. We'll talk about that early next month, and I hope you'll join me again then. Don't forget to take another look at astrology.com.au for loads of, it's a couple of thousand pages I've written, would you believe, for your pleasure, and it's all free. Subscribe, and I'll see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.